Hey, everybody. It's Dave here. And this is Vikings First and SKOL live at the 2-minute warning. We're not quite there yet, but we're getting close. This is not the game we hoped for. No, it isn't. Wow, I can't believe everybody is here already. You guys rock. Absolutely rock. KOC better take the blame if we lose. Yeah, but we have what? How many players out? It is what it is. Hey, Robert, you're 60, been following the Vike 51 years. I don't get upset anymore. Had season tickets from 98 to 2009, 1 year break, typical Vikes. Either way, win, one and done, or many and pick 21st. Yeah, could be. I'm almost 62. Been a fan just as long, and I understand. School left with an injury. Yes, he's got a concussion, and Rouse isn't much better. Well, what you expect? We were hoping he'd be better. Chris saying he'd love to see KOC go full Belichick. We're on to Cincinnati. Yes. Online is horseshit. Agree, Robert. Sell the team, yeah. And it's not quite that bad. Hey, Biggs, long time no see. Good to see you. Absolutely good to see you there, my man. You're here to hear all the excuses. Okay. It is bad. Yeah, it's tough, Jason. You got that right. Yes, it's bad. I'm not disagreeing. It's bad. Yes, Michael, the injury bug. We have what? 6 starters out? 7 if you include Addison. But that's not an excuse. We should have beat them. Why do they embarrass us every primetime game? Well, they didn't last Monday night. They came back. Injuries suck, yeah. Freddie's shaking his head. Hey, Freddie. You and me both, brother. You and me both. Big, great teams still win with injured players. Yeah, but there's a tipping point there, Biggs. SKOL and roll. Yeah, working out the kinks. Yes, George, that's what they're doing. They're working out the kinks. You got that right. They need to be inspired. Brian McKinney style. I love that. Yes. Chuck, you're here for the pain. And you obviously didn't find the lucky seat tonight. Good defense, really bad offense. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mike says purple pain. Hey, get used to it. It's what it's called being a Vikings fan. And Big said he was at SKOL Fest and he met a lot of the guys. That's cool. I wish I was there. I was there in spirit, but I wish I was there. I'll get there eventually. Trust me, I'll get there. No, we are under the 2-minute warning, so I need to hit the roll in. Be right back. Welcome to Vikings First and SKOL's live at the 2-minute warning. Next. And I'll go back to the single screen. I have no idea who's joining me tonight. Hopefully ever the whole crew. But we shall see. And I'm not calling snaps except for defense held the Falcons again, and they're punting. 28 seconds left. Let's see if we can score 2 touchdowns in 28 seconds. Would that be enough? 8, 16? Nope, wouldn't be enough. All right. Yeah, it would. Tie it. Sean says, as we are flat-footed, keep it simpler. And we are the attempts of the 50-50 balls to JJ. Yeah, where were they? What, he caught 3 passes? 3 targets, 3 passes, something like that? His deep one, the 49-yarder, that was a thing of beauty. His double move juked the safety out of his socks. Safety went the other direction. It's like, whoa, where are you going? I thought it was fun. O-line is a nightmare. It was not good tonight. Now, I got to give it to defensive coordinator Ehrlich. He played a very Brian Flores-like scheme tonight. He was bringing pressure all over the place, 5-man rushes everywhere, and, of course, pace buffs the punt. And Falcons recover. Just how this game is gone. Interior O-line, SKOL rock and roll. Well, we lost Brian Kelly. That doesn't help. Chevy says, we got issues. Yeah, we do. Cause and effect. When is Christian Darrisaw coming back? That's a great question, cause and effect. If he's going to be out any longer, it's like, why didn't you put him on IR? But who knows? Blood Eagle Spiegel says, he fumbled, I'm done. It's just week 2. Yes, the Vikings have lost or are losing. They're running the clock out. They went victory formation. Clock is running out. Your Vikings lose this week. They do lose this week. Final score will be 22-6. It was not great for your team this weekend. Yes, Aaron Jones is hurt, pulled a hammy. I saw that too, Anthony. Appreciate the update. Naylor showed McCarthy lack of layering throw on the high ball. Yes, that's true. If he would have just rainbowed that a little bit more, it would have been a thing of beauty and a touchdown. But he's young. Two-tone, oh my God, what the hell? Yes, two-tone. I agree. It was not pretty tonight. Not whatsoever. No. But it's week 2, Robbie says. This time last year, the Saints were the best team in the league. Yes, they were. Without a doubt. And they stunk. Chris asks, how do you think Parker Romer feels? Yeah, he went in there 5 for 5. He's got to be loving it. Freddie, wow. What's wrong with the offense? Brian says, almost mirrored the Gophers game. I missed the Gophers game. What happened during the Gophers game? Did they blow it as well? Anthony says, why are we trying Thielen? He won't have one catch by the time Addison comes back. He's already had a catch. What are you talking about? Cool your jets there, brother. That was the preseason BS. It sort of looked like it, didn't it, Freddie? That's what happens when you wrap up everybody in bubble wrap during the preseason. I'm sorry. I'm an old school guy. You got to build up. You got to build those calluses. You got to putt. You got to hit. You got to tackle. You got to do all those things to get ready. Not to say, oh, we got to wrap them in bubble wrap so they don't get injured. And what do? They get injured on game 1 and game 2. Yes. Yes, Doc, we couldn't get a TD tonight. Not 1. 0. Nada. Nilch. Big Rails. Excuse number 2, McCarthy is young and learning. Yes, he is. But he sat all last year. Yes, he did. He must have learned nothing. Well, no, I wouldn't say that. But he sat all last year. Penix lost last week. He's older. And he played last year. So it's not that simple. Should we have done better? Yes. Should KOC called better? Yes. So what Pace was doing out there today, shaking his head, I was wondering if he greased up his hands or something. He couldn't tackle worth a damn. And we noticed it from almost the first play on defense. And it was like, what the heck is wrong with you? Now, granted, Bijan Robinson is Bijan Robinson. He's a heck of a runner. Got to give him that. But you're taught to tackle and you're taught to wrap up and drive through the opponent. This is crazy. Beast mode. Offense looks horrible. KOC play calling got question mark for real. Yeah, I question it. Chris says, dude, he's going to be a starter. He should have changed his priorities. How about having a kid then? Well, you know how that goes. Sometimes you think with the improper head or the other head. I don't blame him for that. I think we've all done that at one point or another. At least all of us that have kids. Muff punt, catch as well. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yes, I know you're frustrated, Anthony. So I need to catch up with the. Oh, I'm way behind. Well, I'm not way behind. Wonder if Kirk will wear the chains. That's funny. 14 run plays. Was that what it came down to? I have to look at the box score. We had 19 carries for 78 yards, to be exact. 5 of them were McCarthy. So, yeah, 14. Run, pass, punt. Mm-hmm. Or run, get 8 yards, and then incompletion sort of type deal. Mm-hmm. McCarthy was responsible for all 6 turnovers. Wentz would not do that. Yeah, but Wentz isn't going to start unless McCarthy gets hurt. Now, it looked like he could have gotten hurt on that when he got bent over on one of those multitude of sacks. Oy, that's crazy. G-Mac can't recall a more anemic offense. Oh, I can recall a few, but it wasn't. It was not pretty today, G-Mac. Not at all. McCaffrey. Well, how many sacks did the Vikings give up? A grand total of 6. Can't win ball games that way, people. So it is what it is. You just can't. Now, how much of that was O-line and how much was that defense? Yes. Both. Whether it was bad O-line call once Juergens came in, or the scheming for Ulrich and having at least 5 guys out rushing at any one time, it was bad. It was bad. Bob sees, what's our QB depth chart look like? It looks like McCarthy, Wentz, and QB3, Max Rosemer. That's real simple. I'm going to bring in right now, not Jonas. I'm going to bring in Mr. Darren. As soon as I get his camera up. Come on, window. Where are you? There you go. Here we go. Darren, my 2 old bloggers buddy. What did you think of that crap fest tonight?
Well, everybody saw it. It wasn't pretty at all. This is what we signed up for, right? Or at least some of us did. And if there's probably going to be people freaking out now and saying we've played 8 quarters and McCarthy has been horse shit for 7 of them. And that's mostly true. But if Carson Wentz is the answer to your question about the Vikings problems, quarterback problems right now, I don't know what is the answer. I don't want to hear the question. You have to, the fans have to take be patient here. I know it's tough. The players are also going to have to be patient, and we're going to learn about that this week, because you know that Justin Jefferson has got to be seething right there, although I thought he held it together pretty good tonight. You know, TJ Hawkinson has got to be wondering, WTF, I have 3 catches in 2 games, or maybe it's 2 catches in 2 games. But what of all the shit that went on tonight, one thing that does encourage me, and it's not JJ McCarthy's play. There's nothing good we can say about that tonight. But you've seen in the past, Dave, quarterbacks, veterans and rookies, when they struggle, they sit on the bench and nobody's talking to them, and they're looking down at the sideline, and they look shell-shocked. Well, tonight, lots of dialogue. Every time JJ McCarthy comes off the field, KOC is talking to him, and he's not yelling at him. He's talking to him about what they saw out there, what he could do better, or not. Maybe it was execution issues on offensive line or whatever. Same thing. Josh McCown is there in his ear right at the end of the game, coaching him up, talking him through stuff, and that's what they're going to have to do for a lot of the stretch of this season. And I am encouraged by that, because it shows that these guys they've got a plan. They know they've got to work with him. They're not going to stop coaching even when the game is out of reach and things just haven't gone well. And they know that if they don't do that, it's only going to get worse for JJ McCarthy, and he's going to feel isolated and not supported. And that's not what they're going to do. So we'll see. Maybe that won't be enough to turn his play around, but I feel that that's the right course of action for them. And again, I've seen other teams coaching staffs not do those things with their struggling quarterbacks.
Take, for example, earlier, Caleb Williams was benched, and he was sulking around on the sideline, and nobody was talking to him.
Yeah, and you can't have that. Now, maybe Williams didn't want to talk to anybody. We don't know, but like Ben Johnson or somebody's got to go to him and talk him off the ledge and say, look, there's going to be better days. This wasn't all your fault, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I hope that's what, and Kevin O'Connell always talks about, about learning. Sorry, my voice, I've lost it here. It's not because I was yelling during the game. I said very little during the game, but I think, sorry. But I think that, again, sorry.
That's okay.
I don't know what's going on here.
Take a drink. It helps, especially of your favorite alcoholic beverage.
Yeah. But you really, again, you can't have a quarterback, particularly a guy in his second year and his second start in the NFL, and not talk to him and not coach him up and try to, even after something bad has happened during the game, talk to him about how you saw it as a coach, what he should have done or what you think he could have done, and see if that works. And they got to go back to work this week. They're playing Cincinnati. As we know, Cincinnati likely won't have Joe Burrow, but Jake Browning, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. Like right now, if Burrow doesn't play, the Bengals still have an advantage at quarterback based on what we've seen in the first couple of games, right? Even if Browning starts.
And they've got a couple decent edge rushers.
Oh, yes, they do. And you were right about Dave. You probably already mentioned it, but it does bear mentioning if you haven't. About, we talked during the game, we always do, and you're saying, we did have 7 regulars out tonight. It's not an excuse, but that did play into some of the stuff that happened tonight. And of course, hard to win when you give up 230 yards rushing, whatever it was. Couldn't stop the run.
Hey there, Tyler.
Sorry, I'm a little foggy. What I just got done watching 60 minutes of an ass whooping, so the camera will clear up it. Where are you guys at? What are we talking about so far? Because I got a lot to say.
Oh, how crappy the game's been. I've been mostly talking to the crowd that's in here and agreeing with them. And for those who ask what I'm drinking the last of my Buffalo Trace tonight, just to let you know.
Is that easily accessible where you're at, Dave?
Yeah, it's real easily accessible.
Is it easy to get a bottle of Eagle Rare?
Yeah, I believe so.
We might be talking after this show. I have a 10-year and I have a barrel select. I don't have a regular and I want a regular. But anyways, trenches, man. This was supposed to be a strength of the team. And it's really hard to be completely critical of the offensive line, considering Ryan Kelly went out with a concussion, which he may not play next week. Justin SKOL also went out with a concussion. He also might not play next week. So if you have to start
Christian Darrisaw play next week.
Oh, Darrisaw plays. Look, so much gets fixed because that makes Donovan Jackson's job 10 times easier, which then will make the rest of the line's job easier because it's Christian Darrisaw, and he's just a ridiculous human being. I want to tip my hat to the Falcons. That was a tremendous game plan. I didn't see them trying to really run the ball much. Everything had told me when I was studying the offense and kind of studying what they were wanting to do, they wanted to use the short passing game. They love to use a lot of spacing concepts to get guys like Drake London easy targets, move the ball 5-6 yards and just continue to do that. Get Bijan Robinson the ball in space. They just decided to spam the run and it worked really, really well. Shout out Jalen Redmond. He was really, really good tonight. He might have been the best player on the field for the Vikings. And I love that man. That man just absolutely rules. Jonathan Allen continued to get pressure on the interior. Penetration. The big thing.
That's what she said.
With Jesus Christ. Dave acting like he's on Blink 182. He's a member of Blink 182 right now. This is tremendous. Hargrave was okay, but they just could not get out of their own way. And look, Ivan Pace Jr., we have to have a conversation. This guy is not a starting linebacker. He is a really good complementary piece, but the second you ask him to be Blake Cashman, it's bad. And we saw that. It was rough. He was taking the wrong gaps. He was missing tackles, and he was being run over and juked out of his shoes by Bijan. This dude is a great penetrator. He is a great blitzer. When you tell him go from here to here and get there however you need to, he's great. The second you ask him to fit the run, the second you ask him to just be a normal linebacker. And Smeagol says in the chat that it's because he's too small. I don't think it's because he's too small. I think it's how he's wired. I think it's how he's playing the game. It does not bother me that he's so short. He does not move laterally well, and he is not processing properly.
He's not tackling well.
If you were processing properly, Dave, and you knew I need to go in the A gap, then don't go in the B gap.
No, I got that. But he had numerous opportunities today to take down, especially Bijan Robinson. He stuck his arms around him and then let him go. It was like he had no hands.
Mm-hmm.
He did not tackle well. If he would have tackled well, things would have been much better. I wouldn't say they would have been solved, but they would have been much better.
Mm-hmm.
And like Tyler said, the complementary piece is what he has been for 2 seasons with the Vikings, where when they've gone with just the one linebacker or on the ball linebacker, Blake Cashman was that guy, or Jordan Hicks was that guy, and Pace is playing 20 or 30 snaps a game and playing snaps where he can do what he's best at. Like I said, when he has to cover and space and all that sort of stuff, that's not his forte. And tackling is supposed to be. It wasn't tonight, and maybe that's just because Bijan Robinson's really, really good, and he is. But like you say, Dave, when you get a good shot at a guy like Pace did 4 or 5 times tonight, and you get your arms wrapped around him and you bounce off,
you don't let go.
Yeah. So
he could drag you, but you don't let go.
I'm figuring his PFF grade is going to be like -15.
Well, Freddie says he ranks 61 of 62 linebackers.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well,
I haven't looked at PFF.
I didn't see most of the other 62, but what I saw Pace tonight was it looked that bad.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is.
Now, Random Planet says when Cashman comes back, move Wilson into Pace's position.
So I
don't know if they play the same.
Every time the Vikings or any team that we cheer for has a bad loss, everybody wants to replace everybody. Just the way it goes, and the coaches aren't going to do that, and they shouldn't do that because we've seen a lot of these guys play very well with the roles that they've been given and put in positions to succeed. Tonight they're shorthanded on some cases, not an excuse. Like I said, the Bengals lost Joe Burrow today, who's worth about 6 regulars when he's playing, and they still found a way to win. But hey. They're not, let's replace Eric Wilson with, or let's replace Ivan Pace with Eric Wilson. Let's get whatever corner you don't like right now and replace him with McLaughlin or whatever. Like everybody wants to get fired after a bad loss like this. Just got to breathe easy. Next week is a new week. The Bengals are not
brilliant suggestion. Sorry.
The Bengals are not the 85 Bears or whatever great team you want to get at. The Vikings are just going to have to play better, and they're going to have to work on it this week. Hopefully they'll get a little bit healthier, and maybe they'll have a better result. Not optimistic maybe after watching this, but we all got to clear our head, take a deep breath, and see where things go. That's what the coaches are going to have to do. That's what the players are going to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is an ass whooping. So much of it could just be fixed by the offensive line playing well. The strip sack I thought was a brilliantly called blitz. My wife was asking about it, like, why did he just go unblocked? I think there's a miscommunication on what they were supposed to do with their protection rules, and there was a guy dropping from that side too. I think O'Neal thought that Aaron Jones is going to get that outside rusher, and then Jones released, and then all of a sudden he's just getting smacked. Just some really rough stuff on an overall level. This was
that because Kelly went out and Jurgensen was now calling the blocking, or is JJ calling the blocking?
I'll be honest, you shouldn't be having JJ call the blocking, and that's not an insult to him. He's a rookie. He's got enough on his plate, and we've seen, look, it's obvious that he's not where we thought he might be and where we want him to be.
But
this is one of the reasons.
Is that, do we know that for sure? Or is KOC putting everything on his plate so that he learns?
I know Ryan Kelly is calling the protections when he's in.
Right.
My guess is that Michael Juergens just took that over for consistency purposes. I don't know for sure. Somebody would have to ask KOC, and even then, he's probably not going to put it on his young quarterback. One of the things that really frustrated me about kind of the offensive line is I didn't see any attempts, and maybe I'll catch it on the all-22, from KOC to really counter what they were doing on defense. Get some short throws, like incorporate more screens, more short passes. They had a couple here and there, but so much of what KOC wants to do is chuck it downfield. Well, you can't do that when you can't protect and you have a young quarterback who is incredibly inconsistent. And I warned about this all offseason. We have to be patient, and we have to not expect him to be great right away. And right now, that fourth quarter against the Bears is a little bit of fool's gold. That doesn't mean he's not going to ever be great, but we have to be patient. He's figuring it out, and he's struggling. The offensive line is struggling. They're struggling together because McCarthy is struggling with this depth of his drop. And those factors are all compiling into what we saw tonight. It doesn't mean he's never going to be good, but he's not good right now. And I think we need to kind of accept that. I don't think this is a situation where you just bring Addison back and it's fixed. You need Darrisaw and you need Kelly, and there needs to be help because there was a lot of a lot of tough stuff in the run game where, hey, these defensive linemen are crashing hard and they are breaking up a lot of your runs. And they have these 5-man fronts. Why aren't we running counter to get them crashing and then get them on the backside? Why aren't we doing like a counter toss where McCarthy takes one step to the left and then pitches it back to the right? So you get everybody going one step to the other side of the field. Why aren't we doing some misdirection just to keep them thinking? Because remember, if a defense has to think, they lose. And they were just on one all night. And it just felt like the counter punches that KOC had weren't good enough, or they were good enough and the offense just could not execute. That slot fade, JJ is going to dream about that one in tonight, because that was this close to being a touchdown. And Jalen Naylor cooked Billy Bowman. He also beat AJ Terrell on that out route inside the 5-yard line. And against the Bears, he was on fire. So it's just frustrating that so many things just kept manifesting. And the Vikings D-line or defense as a whole got bitched in the run game. They couldn't tackle to save their lives tonight. Half of that's on Bijan, because Bijan's real good. The other half of it is they didn't tackle well. And that's a problem. Now, next week's going to be a little bit easier because you're not going to face Joe Burrow. But the weird thing about the Bengals is the offense really doesn't take a step back when Jake Browning plays. I got a buddy named Tyler Browning. I knew I was going to do that at some point. But like, they didn't take a step back when Burrow went out. They beat the Jaguars today. He's a very similar type of quarterback, and he runs the offense well. Like, they got to figure some things out, and they have to do more to help their young quarterback, and they're not doing it. And JJ is not helping himself either. Let's just be clear. JJ he's making some really sick throws, but he's got an average depth of target of 12, and his EPA per play is negative 0.62. Dave, that's absurd. Maybe you dial back some of these deeper shots and just get him in rhythm. Get him comfortable. You know what the Falcons did with Penix? Bunch of short stuff. Bunch of, hey, get open 8-10 yards down the field and let's just pepper him in. His average depth of target tonight, 6.3. Like, they're doing things right by their quarterback. And I feel like KOC got a little too in his head and was just trying to run his offense and he didn't do enough to just help his young quarterback. That's the vibe I get from watching this game live. Maybe things will change with the All-22, but I really thought that they could have won this game, and it was an ass whooping up and down every phase. Vikings didn't win anything tonight.
And part of that is resting everybody during the preseason. I'm going to gripe on that probably until we get over it. Sorry, folks.
I get what you're saying, but I don't think that's it.
Hey, one, since the CBA keeps reducing the amount of actual game time or actual practice time where they can put on pads and they can hit and tackle to the ground, build calluses, work on technique, people are rusty. And when you add to that, I'm not going to play you at all, they stay rusty, and now they're working through it in the first week, which we had the first 3 quarters, which were bleh. Last week, and this week we had all 4 quarters bleh. And hopefully next week they'll kick that off and they'll be fine, and especially the week after, but we'll see, because we can't lose to the Steelers. No.
Well, the they were talking about the end of the game, or it wasn't the end of the game, but talking about as McCarthy was struggling, like Collinsworth and Tirico throwing out that storyline about, the Vikings. They had Darnold, let him go. They had Jones, they let him go. Rodgers wanted to go there. Well, how well did Rodgers play today? Not very well. So he would certainly be able to handle the stuff that Atlanta threw at him a lot better than J.J. McCarthy did tonight. But I don't think that
Rodgers process it better.
Rodgers would be a panacea to what's going on here right now either.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry for using a big word.
That's okay. We're cool with that. It's just...
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, we're saying a lot, but it's. Hey, the game sucked.
Yes,
Vikings
it
were
did.
horrible.
The Vikings lost 22-6, and we got a down thumb. Who gave us that? We'd love to hear from you to say why we did that. Too many excuses? Is that it? How many snaps for T.J. Watt to set a single game sack record versus Rouse next week? It's not going to be next week. It's week 4 that we play.
Well, the good news is Watt plays over right tackle. So
the Steelers.
Yeah, man, this was just a frustrating one from a lot of levels.
Thanks, T-Pass.
I think one of the tough parts is McCarthy's going to look at this film and realize, man, I had stuff here.
Yes, that Naylor hopefully.
It's going to haunt him. And I, you know what? To a point, I hope it haunts him. And I hope it's a good lesson. And this is why I was trying to be optimistic, but I was very measured on McCarthy because he's young. He's going to take time. He needs seasoning. I made a pork butt for dinner tonight. And let me tell you, shit was good. But you know how long I was in the smoker? About 10 hours. You don't get a pork butt quickly. It takes time. Throw McCarthy in the smoker, metaphorically speaking. He's only got a couple hours in. I think he'll be okay. But there's a lot that needs to happen with this team.
Random Planet thinks we're going to be fighting with the Bears for last place in the division. I'm not so sure about that. I still have faith in this team. There's a ton of talent. But the learning has to be done. So be patient.
Yeah. And
there's no a bunch of games left.
There's no way you can look at the first 2 games the Vikings have played, particularly on offense, and say that they look like they're ready to compete with the Eagles or, I hate to say it, the Packers. But, yeah, it's game 2. There's 15 more games to go. I don't expect that McCarthy is going to continue to be this bad for that long. And if he is, then they probably will make a change at some point in time, which won't make a big hill of difference. But again, patience. We signed up for this. A lot of us did when we wanted them to go with McCarthy. And we knew there's going to be rough spots, and it's been pretty rough for most of the quarters that we watched. Next week, watch the first half. They'll score 24 points. And everybody will be saying he's turned the corner.
Hey, we see flashes. We can see on the field his processing, his thinking, and all that sort of stuff. We can see his throws, everything else, and we see flashes of future greatness. It's just not tuned in yet. We got to get through the rough parts first. Unfortunately, even the greatest quarterbacks ever. A lot of them started out rough.
Yeah.
Peyton Manning
went 3-13 and set a record for interceptions in a year. That record still stands, by the way. Like,
JJ was trying to catch up to tonight all by himself.
Yeah. Tonight was it was rough.
Yeah. That's
Anthony, school does not need to be released. We just need Christian Darrisaw back.
He's a good backup. He shouldn't be a starter. Like,
Mhm.
They also could have done way more to chip and help him. When you saw that Bears game and then you go into this week, you're like, oh, he'll be fine. That's the vibe I got from watching it. Like, why aren't you trying to chip? Why aren't you trying to help? Like,
Tyson says McCarthy's not it. I love the way people could tell after 2 games who's it and who's not.
It's so story about that. Sometimes you know whether a guy is it or not. There are stories about like first practice within 5 minutes. Players and coaches can just tell, yep, this guy's it. Or, oh, fuck, we drafted this dude. And you've heard the story time and time again. No, Richardson's a different case. The idea was by year 3, he could be like Josh Allen because he had every tool. It did not work for a multitude of reasons. But I will say about half of those were the Colts screwing it up. Oh, Russell didn't even watch film. Like, they once sent him blank film tapes. I think that was it to try and test him, and it didn't work.
T-Bass, thank you very much, and I will be messaging.
He didn't open the wrapper of the tape.
So, like, look, T-Bass has mentioned Thor a couple times in the chat. Look, this is when you go out on a limb like this, you are going to be heavily criticized, or you are going to get every ounce of praise in the world. The second somebody does one thing wrong, they're going to jump down your throat. Just like I've been, just be measured. Don't jump down Thor's throat. If McCarthy is asked for 3 years, then you can be like you were wrong, and then you can quote unquote go after him. But not after a night like this. It's 2 starts into his career. We're not anywhere close yet. If you believed in him, you really can't say he's there. I really don't think you can say he's a bust if you thought he stunk. We don't know enough yet. And there were glimpses. Like, he got sacked, and then the very next play, he has that frozen rope to Jefferson where he's calm, cool, collected in the pocket, and had no issues. Like, there's flashes. A quarterback who didn't have the right mentality won't make that throw.
Right. Something will stew on it and go to crap. We even had Kirk Cousins used to do that when things went off schedule.
Yeah.
And he had bad games. He'd get all pissed off. And
just give it time. Give it time. I think this team will be okay. But it's frustrated. It's frustrating for a lot of different levels.
And let's see next week, like if the Vikings do some of the things that Tyler and us have been, and other people in the chat have been suggesting. Like, do they, if School is playing, or if it's Rouse that's playing, do they try to chip a bit more against the Bengals? Do we see a bit more of the quick game in the passing to get the ball to somebody like Jefferson, just get him involved in the game early? TJ Hawkinson, do you keep extra tight ends and try to, from the get-go, do you put Mason in to start the game instead of Aaron Jones? And Aaron Jones was out at the end of the game with a hamstring issue, so there's another injury that we got to deal with. There's adjustments that need to be made. You think that these are smart people the Vikings got as coaches. If KOC is as good a coach as we think he is, he's going to get this figured out and come up with solutions, answers to the questions that JJ McCarthy is facing. He can't play for him, but I think he's going to find a way to get him in situations where he can succeed and the offense can succeed, because he can't be very happy with what he's seen, of the 7 of the 8 quarters that this offense has played as well. Not up to his standards.
Yeah. Just.
Hey, it is what it is.
That L-22 is going to suck. Let me tell you.
Yeah, but yeah.
Well,
when I
Dave,
watch the All-22, I look at different things. I look at line blocking, how they're doing, because I love my big round bellies. And I look for, are things going right? Are there things that can be worked on? Are there things to take and go, hey, that was good. We can glimpse that. They put all this together and it will work. So
I want to talk about this from Kieran in the chat because I think this is something that we have not discussed nearly enough. And they've made a note of it on both broadcasts. Kieran asks, is it fair to say KOC's offense is too complex to get into the huddle fast enough? Right now, yeah. I think it is. And one of the tough parts is, and you know, whenever you see them going like can, and they go like this, or kill, and those plays are called in the huddle. So you have like a 15-syllable play, and then you go
word play,
and then call another one. It's like, okay, there's a lot going on here. And I don't know how much you need to scale that back for McCarthy, but there's obviously something with the communication where it's not going fast enough. And we're draining that clock, that play clock, where he has to really speed things up. And yeah, I think you just kind of need to let it play out a little bit longer because there have been some instances where he's just fine. But I do think that's impacting things. And I think that's a really good point. It's to me, it's something where if they didn't mention on the broadcast, hey, not a big deal. Both Monday night and Sunday night football mentioned the long play calls and how long it was taking McCarthy to get the team to the line of scrimmage. That matters. The fact that they mentioned it means that it was brought up to them in production. Because they have production meetings with these players and coaches to get background. It's like a journalist doing background interviews for a story. Like, yeah, this is a tough one. But look, this offense is complicated. He's going to have to get better at it. So I think there needs to be something from KOC to kind of help out. But JJ will have it figured out. And I do think, you know, maybe the McCarthy becoming a dad this week played into things. You don't want to accuse him of that. You don't want to say, hey, use that as an excuse or a crutch. But gentlemen, you're both fathers. When you became a dad for the first time, your brain kind of flips a little bit. Like, there's an outside chance that this had a factor, even though he tried hard not to. I think we just kind of wipe the slate clean, look at it, learn from it, and then move forward.
And that's what the Vikings coaching staff and players are going to have to do starting as soon as that final second ticked off the clock in this stinker of a game. Yeah, you got to move on. It's over. Nothing can be done about it. And you got the Bengals to play next at home, probably without their franchise quarterback. There's an opportunity here. You play decently and you go 2-1. You're feeling a whole lot different about yourself than you do right now. And that's the NFL, the week-to-week shit.
What did we talk about, or what was the goal set for going into the bye week in week 6? What was the record?
I thought they could go 4-1 or 5-0. Because, and you know what? Shout out to defense. They couldn't stop the run, but they were still pretty solid. They were great against the pass. They consistently prevented, like Michael Penix Jr. didn't have anything successful more than 15 yards on the field tonight. They just got their ass whooped in the run game, which I'm going to be honest, they didn't expect. So,
nor did he have to be successful beyond then, because when you can hand it to Bijan Robinson and he gets 6 yards a pop every time, you don't really have to throw the ball very much. So it worked out pretty well for Penix and the Falcons. And I know Cashman's a good player and Van Ginkel's a great player, but that couldn't have been the whole reason why we stunk on run defense today.
Bijan Robinson had 22 carries for 143 yards and a 6.5 yard average.
Dave, he started the game 3 carries for 52.
Oh, no, trust me. I was watching. I saw that. And Pace was like, hey, what happened to my hands?
I don't feel that Chase Brown will be able to do that against us, but
no, it's the big thing with Bijan is I said it on a show. It might have been a show you and I did together, Dave, but I did a couple other shows throughout the week. He is the closest thing we've seen to Barry Sanders since Barry Sanders, as far as the ability to stop, start, move, juke people out of their shoes. He's not Barry Sanders, but he's the closest thing we've gotten to Barry Sanders. And he's special, just very special. And he whipped our ass.
The broadcast talked about the spin move button. He has the quickest spin I've seen in a long time. He twirls. He just and gone. Most other guys, you can see them spinning, working their way around, but he was fast. He was, and he always fell forward. I guaranteed you. You wrapped him up, and he was going to get an extra 2 yards, which is what you want to have in a running back. That's what we hopefully have in Jordan Mason. Because we generally don't have it in our other running back. But it is what it is. The Vikings running backs did. Jordan Mason had 9 carries for 30 yards.
We rushed for like 80-some yards. It was
Aaron Jones had 5 carries for 23. JJ McCarthy.
The running game wasn't horrible, but there was just so few opportunities because you couldn't string more than a drive or two that went longer than 3 or 4 plays. So hard to get the running game going when you can't complete passes. Your Vikings were at 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2. How many times tonight? And most of the time they couldn't get it done. That's usually pretty simple for make first down for most NFL offenses. So they're going to have to get that figured out too. And it's partly on McCarthy and not forcing defenses to worry about that that he can pass competently yet. But I think it'll come. Like we all said, it's going to have to, but didn't happen tonight.
T-Bass, we came from a different generation. It's what it was. There was no time off unless you had to leave. And then when my second one was born, we were smack dab in the first 24 hours of the Gulf War. So, and I was busy with that.
In fairness, there should have been better leave for you guys when you had your kids.
That's what we signed up for.
Different. It's different when you're in the military, though. It's different.
It may have changed since then, but I know it did change because they talked about, you get paternity leave and all that other bullshit. But we didn't have that.
Yeah. Just Dave, this is a rough one. Darren, I don't even have the strength to make a joke about you showing up today. Just good to see you.
He showed up yesterday too.
I think one of the big things I'm going to look for in the All-22, Dave, and you sent me a message halfway through the game about McCarthy's mechanics. That skip to Jefferson, his foot was stepped on. The first touchdown pass he threw to Justin Jefferson last week, his foot was stepped on. Why is his foot being stepped on? Why is he not creating more space for himself in the pocket? I think that's what I'm going to be looking for.
Or what I saw last week that I saw change this week is that he would drop back further beyond what the O-line was used to blocking for and then get sacked. This week he stayed on his spot, but still had problems. They collapsed the pocket. Hey, the Vikings defense collapsed the pocket on Penix quite a few times too, but he had a quick release.
He had some there was a number of times today too where McCarthy botched the handling of the ball when he had it, and I don't know. I can remember 4 or 5 times, not just that fumbled snap on that 4th and 1, but other times too. I don't know whether
pitch where it's
it just those are those little details. Is the timing off on these things? Is he thinking too much before he has to do what he has to do? But yeah, that seemed a little bit weird, and it just made things more disjointed on offense than they already were.
Mm-hmm. So, hey, Eric, it's chili season, my friend.
Oh, I love me some Hatch green chilies.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Best in the world. With that, I think we're going to wrap this puppy up. We got a lot of stuff to talk about this week, and it's going to be another busy week.
Mm-hmm.
Darren, you got any final words?
This stunk, but I'm ready to move on.
Okay. Tyler, what are we talking about tomorrow night? Tomorrow night. It's not quite midnight yet.
We're going to talk about this loss. We're going to talk about the struggles with this team. We're going to talk about the learning opportunities. And yeah, just yeah.
And then we'll get later in the week and we'll look forward to the Bengals. But till then, everybody stay safe, stay sound, and as always, SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings.
SKOL Vikings.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and ring the bell, and share this episode with your friends and even your enemies. We'd love it. Thanks for watching Vikings First and SKOL. We are part of the Fans First Sports Network, and we appreciate each and every one of you. SKOL.